So in this next video we're going to go onto the sky, but I just thought I'd show you, I've finished off the ocean. It's rough, it is very rough. It does help a bit when you take the tape off and you have a nice straight horizon. That overcomes lots of deficiencies. And yeah, we've got something that's kind of dark, not far off the value. It looks to my eye a little bit green, so it is a little harder when you're making a video. When I'm making a video, it's a little bit harder just to get everything right. This is obviously a bit bluer, but I'm not worried about that. It's just like it's a start, and we can easily put blue in. In fact, up here, I let this dry a bit and then I put some lighter colour on the top, but we're in the ballpark, so that's all we really need to say at this stage. So we're going to have a go at the sky. So I'd say to you that it's probably the case that I'm not going to be using this small brush anymore. So here's the habit that I would suggest. Just a little bit of mechanical cleaning on a paper towel. I'm always sort of drawing down the brush, and then a little bit of a wipe in some turps, and that's a clean. And then I will put that in some oil. You've got oil in your mix. I've got it over here in a little jar. So what I tend to do is just put that in a little bit of oil, just work a little bit of oil into the brush just so that it doesn't have the brutal solvent on those synthetic hair that make up the brush. Okay. The next step on cleaning that brush would be to wash it in detergent, but look, we may use it again in this session, so let's leave it like that. I've got this. Probably I'll wipe that out. Paper towels. My daughter's taught me to recycle my paper towels because you can just, if you've got a couple of bins, you can take that, put it in a bin, and then come back and collect it. When it's dried out, it's perfectly usable from what I've seen. Okay, here we go. We're going to have a go at this sky. It's quite a bluey colour, and I'm going to put some cobalt blue out here. So I should have done that before. And people have said it's quite good to, or told me that it's quite good to have the names of the colours so that when you're going back and watching this video, it's clear exactly what colour it is I'm using. So I've dropped cobalt blue in, and cobalt blue is a colour. It's not a value adjuster. Okay, so I've got my liquid and my turps and my bowl. I'm ready to go, and my big brush. Okay, so I'm going to be mixing up this colour. I will just leave my iPad there just as an indicator. I am going to use the cobalt blue. I'll just dip in and get a little bit of liquid. I'm not spading it out, I'm just getting it on my brush. Okay, so that's way too blue. So I can blunt that down with some burnt umber. That was a lot of burnt umber. Can sneak up on you. But I think it needs to be bluer than that. And if I do my test that I did before with Procreate, again you can see that this blue that's out here, it's not a pure blue, it's more towards, heading towards green. So I need to bear that in mind when I'm doing this. And my big task will be just trying to get the tonal value of this right. So a little bit more liquid. I'm just going to add a little bit of white. Titanium white is dynamite, I'll tell you. So I'm very careful about how much I pick up. I come down, I put my brush down, and then I just sort of pick a little bit up. And this is my departure lounge here. I'm going to add a little bit more blue. I'll show you when I, had time to sort of sit and do more color checking. I came up with this color. So you can see I'm sort of way too dark on that. And you can certainly see that in relation to that. It's way too dark. So I need to lighten things up, and I'll do that with my value adjuster. Titanium white, I don't want too much of it. I like the bowls because I find when I mix on the palette, the paint just keeps moving out and out and out. So I quite like it in a bowl where gravity is bringing it down. So let's have, that's not too bad. So I'm getting closer to that sort of mix I had, but it doesn't look quite blue enough. It looks a little bit too towards a steely colour. So I'm going to up the blue. So a question for you, I've added that blue. What has that done to the value of the paint? The tonal value? Well, it's made it darker. So I've made it bluer. So now I need to add a little bit of white in there to get it down a bit. So this is what I'm getting. So obviously I can't do that on my screen, no. You can see it's a bit dark now, so I need to keep adding a bit more white on this. So you have to be a bit patient on this. It's made it lighter, but I think I've lost that blueness a bit. It's made it too light, so I'll come in with some blue. So you can see I'm just constantly, I'm trying to, it's like I'm trying to hit a target, and I'm adjusting it one way and then adjusting it another way, and going too far in one direction and then making adjustments back again. Look, it's not as blue as it could be, but tonally it could be just slightly whiter. So I'll just grab a little bit more white and throw some in. And that's sort of getting reasonably, of all the mixes I've done, that's the one that's probably, there's a bit of shine on it, which is, could have a little bit more blue. So you just have to be patient with this process. You overshoot the mark and then you go back and you add a little bit more. Let's leave it at that. I think we're broadly in the range that we want to be. So we've mixed this up, and we could mix more, but look, for the moment we'll just start with this. So I'm using my nice big brush. See how much paint I've got. See how I flip it over? The brush is like a sponge. So when I paint like that, you'll see the paint comes up through the side on the top side. So that's when I flip it over and then drag that paint out. So I'm maintaining a horizontal brush stroke with this. And look, one thing I am going to do, which is, you can see it's something that I did in the test run that I did, was I just left a bit of that orange on the horizon, because that does give us the feeling of that light coming through at the horizon. So I haven't added any orange, but I'm just using that as sort of an indicator. You can certainly see this is way lighter than the ocean, which we need it to be. And there are variations as we go up and down here, but generally, look, we're in the right area. And what I am going to do is I won't make you watch me do this, but I'm now going to paint this right across to about here. This area here also is a bluey colour, but it is a lot darker. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bring it through here.
I don't have any places to show.
I think Siri's thought I was talking to her, but I wasn't. So I'll leave you to keep mixing your paint and fixing that up. And your broad choice, your broad guide is, have you got that sky and that ocean? Are those relativities roughly right? And look, to me, they look kind of pretty good for this painting. So they're the two things you're trying to get right. The value and colour of the sky versus what you've done for the ocean. Good. We'll leave that video at this point.